deeper with Lobbing Scorchers. You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get. Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comments section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of Lobbing Scorchers Under the Lights. Folks, it's our first real show of the Seattle Sounders offseason. And if you thought that meant there was going to be a lack of news, you would be wrong. We have got a big, historic, seismic show here tonight. Major League Soccer has announced a shift in its competition calendar, aligning the league's schedule with the world's top leagues. That's pretty big news. We're going to react to that. I got Noah here tapping in from the start. I sent Nico the join link. He might even tap in here at some point. And we're going to be talking about that. There's a couple other news items to get to. No more MLS season pass on Apple TV. It's all going to be on Apple TV. That also was announced today. Yeah, it's going to be a big one. Noah, thanks for tapping in. How are you feeling? We have not really discoursed about all this calendar change stuff at all, so I don't even know what your takes are yet. How's it going? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great, Ari. We're almost at the end of the week, and that's a good thing. Right? Friday, work's done. There's no more MLS games. MLS season's done. No more playoff games. No more MLS Cup. They just said, you know what? We're done. We're actually not going to play anymore, which is tight. I get it. Like, you know.
Yeah, but, I mean, you know, there's might be some playoffs going on. Maybe we'll talk about that at some point, but
or whatever.
Yeah, it's not really that is not the story around Major League Soccer today. Yeah, I don't know how much track you've been keeping of the discourse today, but there's been a lot of it. Some of it higher temperatures than others, some of it extremely high temperature. So yeah, let's just get into all that. But before we do so, please everyone like the video, sub to the channel, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and buy the Lobbing Scorchers hot sauce, lobbingscorchers.com/sauce. Anything else to show before we get into it here? Hunch, good catch on the Minnesota United hashtag. I got that right on out of there as soon as I saw you flag that.
We don't need any of them in here.
Yeah,
we don't want you here.
You know, it's funny, Noah. I was I woke up this morning and I actually I wasn't privy to the fact that all this was dropping. And I was like, you know, what am I going to talk about on the show tonight? We can finish off the Minnesota United discourse, I guess. Maybe get into some roster stuff, debate if Moose should come back, what they should pay Paul Rothrock, all that stuff is what I was planning on getting to. We'll probably talk about some of that stuff. But then they just kind of lobbed this over the plate. True. It was actually first reported by Paul Tenorio and Tom Bogues over at the
Athletic. It was first reported by Nico Moreno yesterday night on our live, but nobody heard that.
It's true. Well, when you told me that, actually, I didn't even remember. We were talking about that, and I thought he was saying that it was something that was going to happen like at some point, which is something that I have figured. You know, this has been talked about for years. But it turns out the next day is when it happened. So it's not, for me, it's not unexpected that it happened, but the timing of it and how fast it is. And then if you read Tom and Paul's reporting, there's reasoning behind why usually this stuff, it's like 2034 is when it takes hold, but they kind of realized that they had to
whatever.
They realized that they had to get on it. And so it's funny, this is all straight from the oligarch class. And when they want to be efficient about something, when they realize that the process needs to be expedited, they will expedite it, and that's what they did in this case. This is going to take place starting in summer of 2027, so that's coming right up. Azarata, thank you so much for getting the super chat train started.
Oh, we got to do that on
live. Vote Pedro for Puskas.
We need to talk about that.
Let's talk about that real quick. I'll pull up that news release. That as Azarata points out, Pedro de la Vega has actually, as we talked about, officially been nominated for the FIFA Puskas Award.
You got to close some tabs, bro. Your computer's lagging out. I know you got a billion tabs open. I know that processor right now is
I don't even
crazy.
have as many as open as usual, but I will here. I'll close some. Here, while I do that, talk about Pedro de la Vega getting nominated for Puskas.
There we go. Pedro de la Vega nominated for the Puskas. I don't know if this is the first time an MLS player has been nominated for the Puskas.
It is not. I will I'm lagging again.
You're good.
It is not the first time. They have that right here, actually, all the past nominees. We got 2023 Alvaro Barreal.
I remember that goal, dude. That one was crazy.
2019 Zlatan. That I think that is in the top 2 to 3, if not the best goals I've ever seen.
That's the greatest MLS goal of all time.
That's the greatest MLS goal of all time, but I think it's straight up just one of the greatest goals of all time, period.
True.
And then you have, do you remember these ones? 2014 Camilo Sanvezo for the Vancouver Whitecaps. And then the Whitecaps have 2 Puskas nominees on here. 2012 and 2014.
From 2 seasons ago, but the Brian White one from 2 seasons ago or maybe it was last season, that we both were like, bro, this should be a Puskas goal.
Yeah. But I mean, have you heard of Camilo Sanvezo? I don't know who that is. Eric Hasley, I kind of vaguely.
I remember Hasley.
Eric Hasley has a Puskas nominee? I got to look that one up. But either way, there have been 4 others, and out of all of those, I think De La Vega's is actually the best, except for the Zlatan one was essentially the same goal that De La Vega scored, but like from
midfield.
From midfield. Yeah, exactly. So that probably will never be equaled by anybody, let alone an MLS player. But there have been 4 others. But yeah, why don't did you think they were actually going to have the courage to nominate him? I thought it was such a good goal that they wouldn't be able to look past it, but it's still nice to see that they actually did it.
No, I agree. I thought they would do it. I thought they would do it, especially because it was MLS versus Liga MX. It was 2 like giant teams in North American soccer. And I just like, especially coming up with the World Cup, like I was like, there's no way that they don't acknowledge that this happened. I think if he had done that against like Minnesota United, like I don't know, but like the fact that it was against, again, like the context of the whole goal, also the pass, they in like the video that they show, they kind of cut off the pass. We're not even talking about how good that pass was from Alex Roldan. Like
it was a huge part of
fucking Puska.
It was a huge part of that goal, is like the distance.
He deserves the Pus, and De La Vega deserves the Ka.
The degree of difficulty, I feel like, is almost higher than the Zlatan one in that way, because the Zlatan one was like a goal kick, right? That got like headed to him, and he didn't have to catch it at pace like De La Vega did, and it was an insane hit. The degree of difficulty on the finish is higher because of how far of distance it was, but in terms of the technical ability to make contact with a cross coming in from that deep at that pace, I think De La Vega's goal might take it from that standpoint. But yeah, I mean, who knows if he's going to win it? We'll see what the competition is, but just the fact that he's in there is pretty sick, and it's well deserved. That is, I mean, it's the best goal in Seattle Sounders history, and that was another great moment of this season that is now getting recognized internationally, not just nationally. Vote for Pedro. Exactly. Now we can do a campaign like that. So let's just hope he wins. Anything else on De La Vega getting nominated for the Puskas before we talk about the?
He'll probably get robbed, but if he does get robbed, he got robbed. Like we can do the full like, oh, he was robbed.
I'm doing the he was robbed bit if he doesn't get it. Just like I'm doing the he was robbed thing about Cal Raleigh right now, and that's not even.
Oh
that's
my
not
God,
even a
we
bit.
can't even get into that. We can't
We're
even
not
get
gonna.
into
We're not
that.
gonna get into that because it's too upsetting. But
It is
you
very
want to talk
upsetting.
about robbed. You want to talk about robbed. Cal Raleigh got robbed. He's the real MVP.
Fucking we don't. I can't even get into it, Ari. I can't even get into it. You're getting me. You're getting me worked up.
I might crash out if we get into that discourse. All right, Noah, new calendar. I'm gonna pull up that.
Read me the article because I have not read it yet.
All right, let's lay down the context. I'll do it from the MLS site first, and then we can add in some of the reporting from those who were covering it today. Paul and Tom were all over it, so they had a lot of more in-depth takes. But this is the basic situation from MLS today. MLS to align calendar with the top leagues around the world. Major League Soccer has announced a shift in its competition calendar, aligning the league schedule with the world's top soccer leagues. Beginning in the summer of 2027, MLS will adopt a summer to spring season format, marking one of the most significant developments in the league's history. MLS is continuing to work with the MLS Players Association to finalize an agreement. And MLS is also introducing a new regular season format. This is the other big one that blends elements of the global game with North American sports traditions. The league will also review potential adjustments to the playoffs format as part of the ongoing evaluation process. So that is the basics of it. You got summer to spring, and then a new regular season format, which, as I understand it, there will be no more East-West. It's going to be a single table, but then they're also going to have divisions, kind of like other sports that do that. So I don't know exactly
play each other, right?
I don't know exactly how they're going to do. Yeah, I don't know exactly how they're going to do the single table and the divisions at the same. Is that like two separate standings? Your division and then they have the. I don't know. I guess that's the kind of stuff
TBD.
we're gonna have to
They're
find
just
out.
like, fuck it. We can't. They were like, Ari. They were like, listen, we are aligning our calendars with the rest of the footballing world, but we will not give up. We will not give up the baseball bit. And actually, instead of 3-game series, we're going to 6-game series.
That would be a bombshell. Imagine how heated it would have gotten today.
I won't count it out. I won't count it out.
I wanted to start right there, just with the reaction to this news, because I did think it was funny. Anytime you have a like big seismic change like this, I think you're gonna automatically kind of have a contingent of people that knee-jerk react to the crash out. Like,
correct.
This is ridiculous. MLS is the biggest bush league in the world.
Correct.
And so it didn't necessarily shock me to see that. But one thing I will say is, like, am I wrong?
My light is falling over here. Talk about good. Bush League.
Am I wrong that the MLS calendar being different than the FIFA calendar, the international calendar, has that not long been one of the primary criticisms of the league that people bring up when they're trying to trash on it? Yeah, like that's one of the, they say retirement league, the level of the footy is trash. I don't know. You could go down the list. It's invading the USMNT and preventing us from becoming a proper footballing nation. And then you get like the calendar thing. Like, the calendar doesn't even match up. What an amateur league, what a bush league. And then when it gets announced today that they changed it to the FIFA calendar, there was a lot of reaction of like, how could they I loved the previous schedule. How could they possibly change it to this? So I just thought that was a funny little dichotomy. Like, I've been watching people crash out about this in the opposite way for years, and then they change it, and then it's still, it's still the same reaction. But I'll start just with my take, and then I want to hear what you think about it, Noah. But the first thing I'll say, I'm going to say something controversial off rip here, which is that this issue in particular, and I guess kind of issues like this, as far as in this case scheduling, it's not something that I'm overly passionate about either way. Like, no. the when the games take place, the days that they take place, what month they take place, that I don't really care about that much, man. The way I look at it is just like, tell me when the Seattle Sounders are playing. I don't care what day it is. Give me the time. I'll be there. If there's a game to be won,
If
there's
it's
a
in
trophy
London,
to be
he'll be
contended
there.
for, I'll be there. I don't really care that much about what day it's on. It's sort of like a lot of fans care about like kit sponsors or how kits look in general. I care about that from the standpoint of like you don't want to be wearing like an embarrassingly ugly kit
Or
but,
an embarrassing sponsor like
I'm about
like
that action.
Providence, perhaps.
I'm about that action. I don't care if it's Zulily. I don't care if it's Providence. I don't care if it's a Bruce Lee kit. I don't care I care what field it's on is as long as it's a functional field. Just give me that and I'll take that. All the rest of it is kind of just noise.
You're there for the footy.
I'm there for the footy. I'm there to see who's going to win the footy game in question on any given day, whatever that day is. But I will say something I found interesting about this was the oligarchs actually laid out their rationale for why they did this. They did like a bullet by bullet list of their reasons. So let's dive into that. But why don't we get your first reaction when you saw this news first, and then we'll dive into that.
I think, listen, to me, it makes sense, right? Like this was something that was always it had been talked about for a long time at this point. I was surprised that they didn't get it done before the World Cup, frankly. It makes sense. I get it. Especially the way that they're doing it. They're taking a winter break. They're going and if you're aligning with what everyone else is doing, it makes it easier to transfer players out, to transfer players in. Why would that, like, what MLS is about? MLS is about sending players to other leagues. That's kind of what they are now. They're a developmental league, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the reality to me is that, one, this is going to make teams more competitive in Champions League, which I think is a good thing. MLS teams are going to be more competitive in CONCACAF Champions Cup because it won't be their literal first game of the season. They will be deep into their season.
That's it. I hadn't thought about that much, but how much has it sucked over the years to go into CONCACAF Champions Cup playing teams that are already in form in their season? It's essentially your preseason. And, no one ever talks about that when it comes to why MLS teams don't fare that well in that tournament. It's always, oh, MLS, it's so far behind. The level is so far off Mexico still. And it's like, okay, yeah, that is partially why the teams don't do well. Also, every single time they play in it, they're in preseason when the teams they're playing are in form and have been playing actual competitive games together. That skews it way more towards the Liga MX teams than people like to admit or talk about. That won't be an issue anymore. And another thing that won't be an issue anymore is these situations where you have players, where you have teams who have a player who's getting a lot of transfer buzz and they're getting big time offers, and then they have to sell them in the window during the season.
Then it crashes their team.
Yeah. So like this season, just Minnesota United as one example, they had to sell Tawny in the middle of their season because they got like a $8 million, $10 million bag from Villarreal or whatever it was. So they had to take that. He wanted to go there, and it was a player they were trying to sell on, and they had a great offer, but it damaged their team's like quality in the 2025 season that they were in the middle of. And honestly, I'm not trying to get into Ramsey ball or anything, but that's part of the reason he went to those extremes, is because he lost his best player and was like, all right, we don't have like the horses now to play maybe how I would want to play. So now I got to play like this. This theoretically, like if they were on this calendar, they would have been able to keep Tawny and then move him on in the next window when it was the off season. So those are two examples of why it would make sense.
I also think, for me personally, the summer in Seattle is the greatest place in the world, and I would like to sit at the beach. I don't mind having the summers off. Actually, I think it would be nice to be outside more. I love a summer night at Lumen. It's great. But June, May, June time off. What's wrong with that? We should talk about, though, the reality that there is going to be a shortened season in 2027. It's going to
that
be a
is
very
weird,
crazy condensed season. And so what's going to happen, Ari. What's going to happen.
What?
Portland Timbers are going to win.
I was thinking that today. They're gonna hang the Transition Cup.
Yeah,
banner.
the Transition Cup, MLS Transition Cup banner.
Dude, if they hang the Transition Cup banner next to the MLS's back banner,
they should do MLS is back too. They should do a bubble again.
That whole transition season is going to have MLS's back vibes. So
it's going to be so sick.
That is
and this is another thing that I'm pro about the transition. I love MLS chaos. I love being a tin pot league. I like being the Bush League. I don't care. Listen, if there was a Bush League, I'm competing in it. Okay, I'm going for it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be like. It's going to be super unserious and like, why not win it, you know? And then whoever wins it, like if we don't like them, we can just say it
doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah. And if Seattle wins it, it's the most important, significant trophy because you're only going to get one.
There's only one of them. Cup. Yeah.
So yeah, like to bridge the gap.
I was thinking about this. The Sounders did say that they've filled their trophy case, that there's no more trophies to win. But I will say we didn't win MLS's back.
True.
So, like, technically, that's not true.
If they win the Transition Cup, though, I think that counts.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
That? It's
eyes on 2027, folks. Eyes on 2027.
To bridge the gap, they're literally calling it a transition season. 14 games from like February to April or May or something, and then they're going to take time off after that, and then launch into the next because otherwise the league would have been on hiatus for like 7 months or something.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. So that's how you deal with that, which that's kind of creative, low key. I would not have thought of it in like a condensed season to bridge that gap. I would not really known how they were going to do that. So we'll see how that actually pans out if anyone cares about the Transition Cup, but that's just trying to get you over to the new,
there was always going to be some weird stuff. Also, can I ask you, because you work for Major League Soccer, soccer.com.
Yeah.
Why the hell is Will Kuntz quoted in this article?
I knew you were going to like that.
What is he like? This is the dumbest. He's going to find a way to somehow bungle his roster spend on the transition season. He's going to be like, oh, we gotta fucking get rid of everyone because we won Transition is back cup.
If I worked in baseball, I'd get fired for bungling the Transition Cup.
He's not even going to be there for then. Let's be so real. He's going to get his ass fired before then because they're not going to do anything next season. Hot take.
A lot of the discourse around this today, Noah, was how it affects the cold weather markets. There's going to be some more games in places that are very, very cold and where it's unpleasant to play soccer in that type of weather, which, if anyone understands the issue that can be, I'm someone who understands that issue. I went to Toronto. I've talked about this. I went to Toronto twice when the Seattle Sounders made it to MLS Cup and had to travel there and play there in December. And that type of cold that I felt on those trips, it fundamentally changed me as a person. Never felt anything like that. I
still can't feel your fingers.
I grew up somewhere where it can get cold in the winters. I grew up in New Mexico, which, contrary to popular belief, the winters are pretty harsh there. It snows a lot. It's pretty damn cold. I've never felt anything like Toronto in December. That weather is bullshit. The fact that it's possible for it to get that cold is I just remember walking around and being like, dude,
there's no way. Yeah.
Who lives here? This is just absolutely intolerable. And then to play a soccer game in that, it was funny when people were trying to pull the Seattle won a MLS Cup without a shot on goal, so you're really making fun of Minnesota United. I've turned the incessantly negative brigade into Texans. I guess
I love that.
I don't know why, but the Seattle Sounders once won without a shot on goal. But dude, that game was played in -10 degrees. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as that's how your team plays every game, even your home games. That is a totally different situation because of the road trip and the injury situation that the team was in already. But then it was also so cold that you could not functionally play.
They were doing they were doing the MLS Ice Bucket Challenge out there. They were not playing a soccer game.
It was disgusting. That weather is disgusting. soccer shouldn't be played in that weather. However, two things on that as it relates to this calendar change. Number one, I don't know if you've seen this, but what I saw is like it's not going to change that much. Like it's actually the number I saw was 91% of the same days.
Yeah,
are going to be. So I think the question you got to ask yourself is like, how many more games in this type of weather and these type of elements are you going to have to play under this new schedule? And the answer is not that many. You're probably going to have to play like a few more.
You definitely get less certified better days. But again, we're pretending that the hot weather doesn't exist with the whole thing.
Also true. Like there's no difference between what I was describing in Toronto and when you have to fucking go to Sporting KC or FC Dallas or Houston in the middle of July.
Worse.
That's worse. The heat. I mean, I'm the type of person, I hate the heat more than I hate the cold, way more. But like it's the exact same idea, and you're dealing with that in reverse. That's kind of the other thing is like, if this was the way the schedule already was and they were changing it to how it is now, people would be like, you can't do this. This is, and now it's because of the fact that I think it's change in general is why it would be getting the exact same reaction in reverse if that was the situation, is what I'm saying.
There's always going to be shitty weather. Like it's just a dumb argument. The argument on the side of business, the argument on the side of competition, the argument on the side of like making MLS be a better product, the argument on the side of like it's going to be more interesting now. Like it's different. I don't know. I'm excited for it in a lot of different ways. I get my birthday off. We won't be playing soccer on my I mean, they never play soccer on my birthday anyway, so it doesn't matter. But and, you know, something that I saw was that MLS had basically guaranteed that like the 2 matches before and the 2 matches after the winter break for all of those like cold weather teams will be away.
Exactly. So they're doing stuff supposedly to try and offset that, which is those cold weather teams, a lot of their road games will be played in that time and theoretically more forgiving climates. And then, but also it's like, dude, that's kind of, some of that is just what you get for being a cold city.
True.
Like I don't know. Like there a lot of sports.
Like I'm sorry. Are you for real living in Montreal? That's not a place, brother. That's like, what are you doing?
It could be a good place. I've never been there. No. It's too cold to. But the thing is, they
make you speak French out there.
They have
it's insane.
They have an option for a stadium that you can play inside, which would be my other point. Like,
that's true.
Like I was on this soapbox during the Toronto MLS Cups because I was like, this is stupid. This team should have an indoor stadium. If you want to get real tricky with it, do what the Mariners did and get a retractable roof, maybe. But like I agree that you can't play in cold like that, but it's Toronto. That's how it gets. And you already have games during the season where you play in those elements. And if teams like that make it in the playoffs, they're for sure playing in those elements. So again, I think it's just when I look at it, I'm like, if it's 91% going over the same days, and then they do the thing where they have the teams in the cold markets playing at that time of year, you have some of their road games go at that time of year. There's stuff you can do with the scheduling like that to make that less of an issue. And then the extent to which that's an issue, I don't see how it's that much more of an issue than it already was. If it was a situation where like those teams were playing half their games in those type of elements, then yeah, that'd be a non-starter. But failing that, I don't see how it's all that different in general. So
can you explain to me what people are crashing out about, or maybe people in chat? Because I saw someone in here who was saying like the MLS is over, RIP MLS. What's the argument against this? Like, what are people so upset about? I genuinely don't get it.
Was the biggest crash out I
was
saw.
The what?
Was the climate stuff. Like a lot of the Canadians and the Minnesotans.
Okay, I'm sorry. First of all, Canadians, brother, just listen. You get healthcare, you don't get to complain. You have healthcare, you don't get to complain about the climate. All right, like you chose to live there. All right. Like you're in the tundra, brother. Like I can't help you with that.
It's cold there even in the warm months, isn't it? In Toronto? I don't know. I can't picture.
They have the worst accent in Toronto. Like, have you seen those videos of like the teenagers at the malls and they're like talking like in the
Toronto?
most insane accent? Okay, that makes me sound insane. Like I'm looking at videos of teenagers at the mall. It's not like that. It's if people know what I'm talking about. We're gonna have to cut this part of the stream. I just,
I mean, I don't remember noticing any different accent from them one way or the other. The time.
Yeah, see, first Osaze. Yes, exactly.
Osaze. Oh, that's right.
Like Osaze's got like a Toronto accent.
Yeah,
Toronto Crody.
He is from out there. I didn't pick up on that when I was there. I also wasn't talking to all that many Canadians. I was kind of in and out. I didn't want to stay there any longer than I had to because
Ari's a patriotic American, famously.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to get back to God's
even though he's a Canadian men's national team fan.
it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was the weather thing was a big thing, and then snow was gonna fuck with a lot of games. Someone's saying.
Juan says this is gonna be a massive disruption to the current MLS fan base. What like? I don't really understand how that would change. It just means that like there's games going on at different times. But again, like you said, it's 91% of the same games. I guess it would make sense if it's like, okay, we go and spend most of our time going to the games in the summer and we only use the summer as our time to go to games. That makes sense. Like I could totally see that. Like families, it's a little bit less accessible to like a family who's just going there for fun in the summer. Totally. That's fine. I can actually see that argument, but like it's just, I don't know.
It's another thing I was thinking about is like, for me, things like this, when you first see the news, you're like, oh wow, this is such a big change. It's going to be so different. This is going to be so crazy. I'm pretty sure once the games start, we'll just adapt and we'll be like, this is how it works now. And that'll pretty much, even if there are drawbacks, which, I'm not necessarily trying to minimize the drawbacks. I saw some blazing rhetoric on
people
Twitter
will crash.
today.
Do you remember when MLS changed their logo?
Yeah, that was a good crash out.
That one was like the world was coming to a fucking end.
The old logo was better, but it's also like the logo.
I don't mind their new branding.
It's fine,
but it's like I didn't mind the old one.
The old one with like the cleat, like that was.
Yeah, all right. That was pretty sick. Yeah, you're right. It was pretty sick.
But I mean, sometimes logos change. The Sounders change their logo.
That's true, famously. And remember when my favorite crash out, New York City FC like changed their logo, but it was really just they like moved a couple of lines around and changed the font. And then there was this dude who got like the old logo like fucking massively tattooed on his back. And he wrote like 2K words on X the Everything app, crashing out and saying that it was like an affront to God and the fans.
The MLS logo he tattooed?
No. Like the New York City FC logo.
Oh, the NYC.
He was like, I can't believe you would change this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, brother, it's this like you're gonna be okay. Like, it was like the funniest thing ever. They should change the Revs logo back though. I will say
a lot of what I was watching today with this discourse. I was sitting there and I was like, you would have crashed out. Like, no, you were just looking for something to crash out on.
I'm interested to hear what that one fucking guy had to say about this.
He was pro. He was pro.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, which I was surprised to see, but then I was like, okay, like I guess there's some semblance of consistency there because he had been saying he's been one of the forefronts of this.
It's a brigader point.
It is. Sometimes the brigade cooks.
The brigade. Listen. Okay. I'm gonna be so honest with you. The brigade is right about this. The Euro snobs are right about this. Like, if you want to be a competitive league with these other leagues in Europe, which again, I've said this before, I really do think that Major League Soccer is competitive with the championship, and that most really good players in the championship could come here and be competitive, and most good players from here can go and be competitive in the championship. Changing to that schedule, like I don't know. I think it's good. And also, maybe we should move on to this. I mean, we could keep cooking on this, but I don't really know what else there is to say. Like, it's going to be a wait and see thing.
QSMNT cooked on this take. They made it happen.
Yeah, QSMNT. They were right about they were right about it. This was their storming the Capitol moment, and their second point that they've also been talking about. They've also said that the Apple TV deal is terrible and bad for the sport, and it's not growing the game, and we need to grow the game, and to grow the game, we need to be on TV. Well, they didn't do that exactly, but Ari, if you have Apple TV Plus, you're now going to get to watch all MLS games, not for free, but like included with your subscription cost.
Yeah,
which, funny enough,
yeah,
someone did the math. It's actually more expensive than just MLS Season Pass, because if you pay for just MLS Season Pass at the beginning of the season, it's like $80 or $90.
But now if you get Apple TV Plus new,
if you pay monthly or yearly, it's more expensive.
I don't know how many people are going to be getting. Like, a lot of people just already have Apple TV Plus for shows and stuff, so I think that's one reason why
it's more eyes move. For sure.
Yeah, it'll get more eyes, and I think that move is really good, because I think most of us agree that, and we're all MLS sickos, the product and the usability of MLS Season Pass, I think, is actually pretty good, and more just like the function of having every game available in one place, and not having blackouts, which honestly nothing triggers me more than trying to watch a game and having it be blacked out. So having that not be an issue has been great. But I think the reality they kind of ran into was that it's such a niche thing that when you paywall it like that, yeah, the sickos like it, and it makes it way more user friendly and convenient for people who are already fans. But people who aren't fans are probably not going to pay for that. But people who aren't fans who could become fans might already have Apple TV Plus, and then now that they just have it included, they might be like, oh, fuck it, I'll watch MLS.
Yeah, and
maybe you get some new fans, or at least new eyes that way. And I just think in general, it's good to not have it all paywalled.
No, I agree. And Sierra, sorry, I don't know what the pronunciation is, but says Apple TV is getting Formula One rights too, and that will be included in the overall subscription. So they're going to have Formula One fans, MLS fans. I think that's a pretty good crossover, if I'm being honest with you, Ari. I feel like there's a lot of I'm going to be honest, I can't get into Formula One. I've never been able to do it.
I watched the Netflix doc a little bit.
The doc was good.
The doc
was good. Like, I can agree with that, but it's just like, it's not my sport. I don't have the bandwidth to add anything else to my sports knowledge repertoire. I already need to know what the MLS calendar change is going to look like for a random Toronto resident. Like, I don't have space to know about like Max Verstappen and what horsepower his car has. Like, I just don't have that. But like, I think that's honestly like kind of a good audience crossover. Like, if I was going to do like a poll on potential fans who would cross over, I feel like that makes a lot of sense, but maybe I'm out of my mind. Kiara, sorry.
Here's something from Paul summarizing some of the issues with the calendar change. This is kind of what we were talking about, but it just sort of confirms it. He says the debate over is Paul Tenorio of The Athletic. Go follow him, subscribe to The Athletic.
NewYorkTimes.com.
Yeah, exactly. The debate over the calendar flip has found its harshest critics in the northern markets, where fans have voiced concern about losing summer games while adding games in colder months. Because of the winter break spanning from mid-December to early February, the league believes it is only adding a handful of games outside of the windows that currently exist in today's MLS schedule. Fans in warmer markets, meanwhile, expressed relief at fewer games being played on some of the hottest days of the summer. I agree with that. Some colder market owners sought mitigation for expenses and loss of revenue that would come with the calendar flip, including renovations to stadiums and training facilities. Other owners in warmer markets pushed back on those requests, according to sources. No mitigation was tied to this vote, according to Nelson Rodriguez, who, what is he doing these days? Is he still the Chicago? Oh, okay. He used to be the Chicago Fire GM. Now he's described as just an MLS executive. But Yeah, so it seems like
giving anyone a title nowadays.
It seems like that is the biggest point of contention, which
I saw someone in chat say
it's a real issue, but if that's the only, or if that's the biggest primary big issue, I think you kind of got to figure it out like they're trying to do.
SSB28 is crashing out in chat. So like I'd love to hear more from SSB. He said that like so many people are canceling their season tickets and you're out of your mind. What else did we get cooking here? People will go to playoff and opener games in the cold, not random regular season games. Well, can I tell you something? People don't go to regular season games anyway because the regular season doesn't really matter in Major League Soccer, which is why they're doing a competition change and making the table and all of that change as well. So I disagree with your point, and I think that frankly, it won't be that bad.
I'm not quite sure about that as just like a statement of blanket fact. Like if every single home game was in negative 10-degree weather, then yeah, your attendance would probably suffer. A few times a year, I mean, you can look at MLS, but you can look at other sports. They play NFL playoff games in Green Bay in January, and it's cold as hell, and that's kind of like part of the deal. So it's a little different because you're probably gonna have more of those games, but I don't know if you can say for sure that like no one's gonna go to that. People bundle up, people go to games in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
Not like
no, I agree. I don't listen. So someone else said like, oh, summer is. I think Juan said this. Shout out Juan. Juan said that this summer is soccer. Like summer is soccer weather, brother. To me personally, where I grew up, soccer weather is the pouring rain. Is that nice Seattle drizzle. I enjoy watching games with the light rain coming down. Can they get it done? Listen, maybe that's the like Anglo-Saxon in me, the English and the Irish and all of that inside of me saying we need depressing weather to play football in. And that is just like beautiful to me. So I don't mind it. Is that logical? I don't think it's any more logical than saying summer is the best time to play soccer. But then again, I guess there's an argument the World Cup's played in the summer, blah, 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 blah. Like, I get it. I just think that there's a counter argument to every argument to the point of where you have to kind of take the feeling out of it, which everyone has a feeling about it. I don't like change either. Changing my whole ass calendar around, like, whatever. Frankly, we're always talking about the Sounders, so it's kind of never feels like the season ends for us.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying earlier. Like, it's not going to end up being
disconnected.
That.
Maybe we're disconnected.
Well, but if the 91% figure is accurate, which I don't know if it is, that's what I saw. The figure I saw is that 91% of the games are going to be played over like roughly the same like times a year or days that they always were. So if that's the case, and we're talking about like a change in 9% of the games, even if there are drawbacks that come with it, which there are.
Mm-hmm. Hunch asked, when is the last time you paid to go to games? Getting in as a job and asking others to pay for it are not the same conditions. Well, I had season tickets
you can speak
last
on that
season,
more than me.
And I've paid for many games throughout my entire life, and I would continue to pay for tickets. In fact, if I made enough money, I would have season tickets still. Jeremiah has season tickets, all of that. Like, yes, we are very lucky and fortunate to not have to pay. And that's what I'm trying to say here is like, maybe we don't understand, but again, like I just said,
I'm open to that.
About this team the whole year.
I'm open to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it's true. I don't have to pay to go to the games. So
yeah,
but I'm trying to think of it from the perspective of someone who would have to take that into consideration. Like if I was paying, would this make me want to not pay? I don't see why I would. Like, I feel like if we're going to a place of I'm not going to go anymore or watch anymore because of this, that seems reactionary to me, but
yeah,
I could be
wrong.
But
then again, I'm reactionary all the time, so
True.
I can't really blame you.
Yeah.
Someone said here on the, well, let's keep cooking on this because there was some action. We have a good banter going on with chat. This is a good Thursday night show, man. Thank you for dude. Hunch wants to call in. Hunch wants to cook so bad. Let's see what else. You're just a bunch of sickos. That's true. It will probably mean better home field advantage for northern teams who will be more used to the colder months. Maybe, but the southern teams have had advantage in the past, and none of them have won MLS Cup.
Seattle has a home field advantage with how much it rains. That's a huge part of Lumen's home field advantage is
and the turf. Yeah,
the turf, but a lot of the teams that come here don't train in the rain. Seattle does train and play in the rain, and when it does start raining at Lumen, whenever it starts raining at Lumen, I'm never like, oh, this is gonna be an equalizer. I'm like, okay, advantage Seattle. Like, depending on what team it is, some teams might be more equipped for it than others. But like, if FC Dallas is coming in here and it's raining, like that skews it, I think, quite significantly. Towards Seattle. So
I agree, but I also don't think that that advantage is as present as people are trying to make it seem. Is like what I'm saying. It's like, when's the last time the Houston Dynamo were able to put together a fucking MLS Cup run based on their standing position that they got from forcing people to play in the heat? Like, it's not a thing. Like, it's not
the individual games there in July are. I see. Like, if we get rid of those, like, if part of moving off having the games in the summer is you don't some of my least favorite games that the Sounders have to play.
Miami
are these mid-June, mid-July games where they're going down to Kansas City, Houston, and Dallas, and it's 110 degrees. A lot of times at that point in the season, they've been like racked by injuries, and they go out there and they look tired and they look flat because it's 110 degrees. Yeah. FC Dallas is used to playing. There's
15 people in the stands because it's soccer weather. It's
and then they lose, and everyone's like, "This is an indictment of Craig Weibel and the entire."
And then we have to have the fucking discourse, and it's like and they're like, okay, fire Brian.
That wasn't even a real game.
No,
that was 4 of the boys and half of Tacoma Defiance in 110 degree heat against a team that like knows how to play in that. There's never any chance you're going to compete in a situation like that. Like that, those extreme heat games are skewed so hard towards those home teams. And no one talks about that as like an issue with the current calendar, right?
No one talks about how it's impossible to go and win in Salt Lake City. Why can't the Sounders go win in Salt Lake City? What's up with that? Should we change the count? Like, should we not change or change the calendar? But I think just inherently there are road trips that are harder than others, and that comes with having to travel for fucking games. Like a team who comes from the East and comes and plays on the West is inherently going to have a disadvantage because of the flight, the travel, the time difference, everything. Like, you're never gonna have like I think the argument around like on the competition side, at least, I'm here for the fan frustration, especially if this has been a part of your life for a long time. And listen, I'm Ari's unk for sure. I'm getting there. I'm becoming chopped and unk, and like I don't like changing my routines. That shit sucks. That shit's annoying, But like sometimes it's got to happen. So
again, like I was saying at the top, like what. I'm seriously asking. I spent years watching people trash on MLS for being on a different calendar. No one was out there defending the current calendar and saying how much they loved the current calendar and they didn't want it to switch. It was the opposite. It was literally the talking point was MLS is a trash ass bush league because it's on a different calendar than the rest of the world. It's not going to be a real league until they switch that. And then they switch it. And then it's like, this is a disaster. How could they ever change the count? I'm just saying, like, that is something that I observed today. And, to be fair, like I said, QSMNT, they were on point. They were on point. They were consistent. They stuck with their guns. But I just couldn't help but feel like a lot of the same discourse like was coming from people about how trash MLS is for being on a different calendar. Now that it got changed, it became, it's a trash ass league for switching to the universal calendar. I frankly thought that switching to the universal calendar, the FIFA calendar, whatever you want to call it, I thought that was what everyone wanted and was in favor of. I clearly I was wrong. A lot of people,
dude, it's again, I think that we're going to forget about this. after it happens. Like people are gonna be upset and be mad, and it's a change and all of this. But I think in the long run, again, I am not the average consumer by any means. I think that my opinion as an average consumer would be like, I love the Apple TV deal simply because, and someone else, I do want to circle back to the Apple TV deal because someone said something really good about that I favored and I want to hit on that. But like, I love that deal because I want to watch Chicago Fire versus Atlanta United, and I don't want to have to like hunt it down. I want to just be able to open the app. I don't know. Like I think that there are things that MLS is doing, generally speaking, that yes, it's frustrating, all of the change that's happening, and maybe it's not executed in the best possible way, but I do think that they're generally doing a good job of it, man. Like, for the sickos, I mean, like, I don't know, I'm happy. I'm a soccer sicko, dude. If it's in line with the rest of the soccer world, it just makes sense to me. It just makes sense to me.
Well, and I mean, I would say the biggest benefit is the transfer stuff. Having to like wrangle your transfer windows.
Imagine
like trying to get players.
Yes, cook on this, and I'm sorry. I'm just like,
well, just trying to get players off of other teams to your club in MLS when they're right in the middle of their season, or vice versa. It makes it inherently harder. If your calendar is aligned with theirs, then the trend when their players are open for transfer is the same time that you are trying to get players, and they're going to be more willing to move them theoretically, right? Like, so
no, exactly. How, dude, do you remember how fucking difficult it was for us to get transfers? Like, Noah Ohio doesn't want to come for whatever reason,
because he's
like,
still fighting for minutes at whatever, or Utrecht.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you have, like, people were disappointed that they signed Jesus Ferreira and didn't go out and get another player. Well, guess what? Jesus Ferreira is not fucking playing minutes right now. He's sitting his ass at home because FC Dallas got bounced out of the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, interleague transfers are so much easier. They're easier to bank on. You know how a player's coming in. You know that they're going to be a little bit healthier, not as banged up. All of this stuff. It is genuinely a game changer to make this league better and more competitive in the transfer market, which is what every single fan has been like crashing out about.
Yeah, exactly. That's where did that
5 fucking years?
Where did that go? I thought, because every time the transfer window, that's part of what causes this discourse, is how much trouble teams have. Like, if you want to know why the Sounders have been so unambitious, it's partially because they're broke. Okay.
Famously, they are broke
because they're broke. But there have been, I could name a few off the top of my head of players that I know for a fact that they were interested in, that are high pedigree players, where stuff like this, the timing of it, actually, it was a big issue. A lot of times, like, when players are in the middle of something, they don't want to just like drop it and switch clubs. Mm-hmm. I think like the Noah Ohio thing is honestly probably, we don't know exactly what happened there, but that's probably a pretty good example. Like, he was in the middle of a situation where he was like, I feel like I can still break through for Utrecht, and I want to try my hand at playing or like earning minutes for this team. And that's part of the reason that he rejected Seattle, in all likelihood. If I had to guess, if I'm gonna look up, he came available at a time that was aligned with when Seattle was aligned with Seattle, maybe that would have changed the calculation. Maybe that would have been different.
I'm trying to see how many minutes he's got right now this season.
I don't think it's a lot. I think someone's saying bullet dodged. I've been saying that for a while.
He has 4 goals in 332 minutes, 4 starts, 5 matches.
So he's just not really. That's actually not a terrible.
He's actually cooked. He's cooking. But I think their season just started in September.
4 in 322 minutes. You extrapolate that over like 2K. Like, this guy's like a 25.
Dude, he's putting up Moose numbers.
He could have been putting up Moose and Jordan numbers combined.
Yeah. No, I mean, their season just started like late September, or at least he started playing late September.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, like, if the calendar was aligned, I think the likelihood that that transfer happens it's at least higher, because it did sound like, from everything that we heard, he was considering it and not against it, but he
is that the U23 team? I was looking on FotMob, but
The Utrecht U23s or the Netherlands?
Maybe it was the Utrecht U23s. I didn't really look.
Or their reserve side. I don't know.
No,
I thought he was.
it's their real one, I think.
Okay. Well,
maybe not actually. I don't know. It's not a real league. What it like? Do we even know what the Erste Divisie? That's not the Eredivisie.
It is the Eredivisie.
Erste.
I mean, I don't know what the Utrecht is Eredivisie. I'm pretty sure. Unless
they get relegated.
Unless we've been drastically
No, they got relegated, bro.
Young Utrecht is what I was
Doesn't matter. This is stupid. No Ohio, bullet dodged. Someone do the fucking research. I don't know.
Maybe the next Noah Ohio. Maybe the next Noah Ohio will be more inclined to come to Major League Soccer or the Seattle Sounders if the timing is actually.
He's 4 goals in the second division. Thank you. I'm not insane.
So he has 4 in the Dutch Reserve League.
Mm-hmm.
Bullet dodged.
Yeah. They should have recruited Duncan Idaho. That would have cooked. We need to make Duncan Idaho is a guy that we could create in a lab to be the sickest defensive midfielder of all time.
Do we want to look at what they are billing the strategic benefits as? I feel like we've kind of talked about it, but this is what they are.
Yeah, cook on that, and then I've favorited some comments for us to jump back into because people are cooking tonight. I'm loving this. We're having good interaction.
It's good debate. It's good discourse. This is what the oligarchs like. This is their statement. So I just think it's interesting that the oligarchs are offering up this like stated rationale at all. Usually when they make it,
they just drop it.
Yeah, an executive unilateral decision like this, and you ask why, they say because we said so, because we have a lot of money, and this is what we want.
Because we had a closed door meeting.
Yeah,
the players are getting less money.
This is what we're deciding. No one's getting paid. But in this case, they actually put out their rationale. They have optimized global transfer market activity. We talked about that. Aligning with global schedules allows MLS clubs to participate more effectively in the world's major transfer windows, improving opportunities to acquire and sell top talent. Is there anything wrong there? Are we getting gaslit at all on that? Like I feel like we were talking about that, but I think that is actually a key reason behind why this would seem to be like a logical thing. Is it not?
I agree.
Maximize player signings. With the majority of global player transfers occurring in the summer, participation in the most active transfer window will now enhance rather than disrupt a team's ambitions for the season. I think that's a key point, man. The Tani thing is a good example. Like if you're against it because of the weather, you have to acknowledge that reality in the other direction. There shouldn't be situations, and this is why people rightfully crashed out about this at the time. There shouldn't be situations where you have a team like Minnesota was this year that was firing on all cylinders with this really great player that looked like he was going to help win them trophies, and they get offered a bag in the middle of the season that they can't refuse, and they have to take it, but it weakens their team in the short term while they're trying to be a team that makes a push for MLS Cup. Like that sucks, man. That's not a good situation for any club to be put in. And I'm going to perpetuate the narrative that's why they descended so deep into the depths of Ramsey Ball hell. I think I actually think that them losing Tani when they did had something to do with why their style and their tactics became as extreme as they were, because they lost their best player and they got a bag, but they haven't replaced him yet. So this should theoretically prevent that.
Also,
go
one thing on that. This is also a perfect opportunity to push my new agenda that I just came up with that I think you're going to be on board with. Globalize TAM and GAM. I want cash first. I want TAM and GAM internationally. You should be able to spend your TAM on a player in the Eredivisie. And that's all I'm saying.
Ooh, Ari, I think you're cooking.
Like I think we need to internationalize TAM, GAM, BAM, and SLAM. And that's that.
SLAM. We need more slam.
We need more slam.
With marquee players joining in the summer window, new calendar allows MLS teams to fully integrate summer signings before the MLS regular season and cup competitions begin. Okay. Aligned with the FIFA calendar, mindful of FIFA international match windows, the new calendar will significantly reduce conflicts between MLS league matches and national team calls for players. I think that's a key thing. How much do we complain about that too?
Dude,
how much,
oh my God, losing Obed and Christian.
It's triggering. It's for the same thing I was talking about. The heat of the.
You can't tell me we would not have been in a better playoff position and finished in a better place in the table if we had Obed and Christian.
Yeah, and it's how many times have we gone into games against teams that, you know, theoretically Seattle should beat, but it turns into one of those brutal slogs of a 0-0 type MLS games. And part of the reason is because you have 27 guys gone for national team duty. If this gets rid of that, oh my God, that would be so much better. Like, come on. Everyone complains about that. Everyone complains about that. If you have ever once complained about that, which I know we all have, then it would seem to me that this would be a good way to solve that. I don't know. Elevate playoffs. The Audi MLS Cup Playoffs and MLS Cup presenting by Audi will be played in May, delivering ideal timing and weather for the pinnacle of the MLS season, uninterrupted by FIFA international match windows. This change would also provide premier placement on the sports calendar, ensuring maximum attention and visibility for the league's most important matches. Then they laid out a numbered list of the strategic benefits, the oligarchs.
ChatGPT wrote that.
And then they have behind the decision 2-year process. And then they go into like all the research and data and focus groups and all
Dude,
that.
They probably paid McKinsey like $7 million for this article. They could have paid us 20 and we would have done it.
Why do you think the oligarchs were so intent on having like this justified of a they must feel very confident that this is actually
it's marketing.
It's marketing,
like
but
it's a good thing. Like, it's a good thing for their league to market and say, listen, we are aligning to be more competitive and be in line with our actual competition, which is Europe. And I know people don't want to hear it, but MLS went from competing with Mexico and Liga MX to now they're competing with Europe. That's what they want. And so putting out this whole address and making this whole statement and making it a big thing, it's announcing to the world that we're coming for you.
I like that.
It's marketing. And whether that's going to actually happen or not, that's obviously yet to be seen. But I don't know. Also, we have to hit this because SSB, again, our brigader, anti-change brigader said January transfers happen in Europe. Whatever. These are names. Virgil van Dijk, I do know, went to Liverpool during the season. It's not an excuse. If you talk to any MLS executive GM who is working on transfers, they will tell you that they have an incredibly challenging time with negotiating players away in the middle of the season from their clubs. Because at the end of the day, players don't want to have to pick up and move in the middle of the season without knowing that they're getting a guaranteed spot, guaranteed playing time. When they're already comfortable, they're already settled. Again, we already said this, like no Ohio. This is especially true for young players. We are not PSG. We are not Liverpool. Those type of big money deals are not happening in Major League Soccer. When general managers are going out and looking for a U22 or a young player in Europe, or a player who's maybe middle value to lower value in Europe, but could be really highly talented in MLS, they're having to pitch themselves. They're having to pitch the league. They're having to pitch all of this stuff. And any friction causes problems. Secondly, teams price gouge because it's in the middle of their season. They don't want to let him go. Why would they? It's a harder time to negotiate transfer fees. That is the truth. That is the God honest truth. You can talk to any GM. They will tell you that. And they have no incentive to lie about that. That's real. Like we have personally heard from Craig Weibel. I mean, not personally, but like he has talked about this publicly, about the challenges that bringing a player in at that time causes. And that's why they were trying to bring in Noah Ohio in the middle of the season, which again, when you're bringing a young player in the middle of the season, it's a harder sell to them. So like not being aligned is causing problems for MLS clubs bringing in and retaining talent. And so you can tell me that this happens all the time, but that's not necessarily true. You're talking about 2 transfers that happened that were, again, big number transfers between big clubs who don't have a problem replacing stuff, and not a league who consistently has to pitch itself to a bunch of different players. This is a good thing for getting better players in this league. That's the God honest truth.
You know, the more we talk it through, the where I came down is what I said at the beginning, which is that like I'm not that passionate either way. I can see like we've been talking about all the reasons why they did it, but if they kept the calendar the same, I wouldn't really think much of it. But if they change it and there's drawbacks or whatever, I would adapt to it no matter what. But the more we talk it through, the more I'm like, this is could be a game changer. This could be a game changer. I think the transfer stuff is huge. I think the international break stuff is huge. That's going to be a big quality of life boost. I think when the reality hits of like having those international breaks, not having games conflict with those anymore. I think when the reality of that hits, I think we're going to be like, wow, why didn't they change this shit like 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Like,
yeah,
that's sort of where I'm at after.
It also, and people are saying this in chat about how like roster rules are going to change, all of this stuff. It gives a target date for a change. It gives a it is this MLS doesn't make big changes all at once. It's just the truth about the way that it is, unless they have a reason to do it. Beckham, Dempsey, Messi, right? Like all of these things, they made big changes. They are changing the schedule, and it's going to be interesting. And then again, like people are saying, there's the CBA, the new CBA in 2027. There's time. There's things that are going to be moving. This is good. This is good. All of this is good. Loosening roster spend and all of that, we'll see what happens. But you don't.
Some people were saying that there was already
setting yourself up for success before you get there.
Someone was saying there was already a release out about roster rule updates. I haven't seen that myself, but you would think that this is that's another thing people have been asking about or asking for years. You would think something like this would hopefully, we'll see, would hopefully be a step in the direction of loosening those restrictions and regulations to whatever extent they're willing to do that. I don't know.
I think we're both pro some restrictions, though.
What?
I think we're both pro some roster spend restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about pro, but at least I can understand like why they're.
I am of the minor opinion, and I understand that I'm in the minority about this. I don't mind the tight roster rules because I am not someone who gives a shit about the rest of the world as much as, you know, like a team being held up to the Sounders are never going to be Liverpool. The Sounders are never going to be PSG. The Sounders are never going to be Atletico Madrid. I don't care. But like, I enjoy an equal, even level of competition and parity where anyone can win any year. That is what makes MLS enjoyable to me personally.
I do like a salary capped league more than I like a league or like how they do it in Europe where there just is no cap at all and you can just spend whatever you want on whoever, however much you want, whenever. That the way they do it is insanely stupid because it's created a situation where we all know this. Like the way those leagues work is whoever spends the most money wins the league. What's the intrigue with that? Like you're like, I don't understand how people get passionately into the Prem.
Yeah.
Or like
it's not for me. I mean, I watch the Prem, but I'm not like
it's watching it because it's great footy. It's great footy.
Beautiful. It's the best footy. It is the best footy.
Only 2 or 3 clubs have a chance to win it in any given year. It's a predetermined outcome. You go into every season already knowing what's going to happen. Like,
why do you think the year that Jamie Vardy put his team on his back and won was this magical run and like everyone was tuned into it? Like it's like it rarely happens where you have a an interesting team, not interesting, that's the wrong word, but like a like a Minnesota United win or a like what's a good, like 2016 Sounders doesn't happen in the Premier League.
No, I mean it's like, you have the Leicester example, which people sometimes point to, but that is so far drastically.
What I can point to is the up and down of all the bottom tier teams. 99% of the time when a team gets promoted, they just go right back down. So it's like, and that's a whole other conversation. But like, do you know what I mean? Like the level of competition is so stiff that the bottom, it falls out.
Well, and I think what's kind of cool about a salary cap is that it rewards the teams who are good at maneuvering it and strategizing it, which that is an art form that some are better at than others. And it also, as we've seen with Seattle, it rewards the teams that actually are about it with youth development too.
Correct.
Like
which is what this league should be about anyway.
Yeah, at this point in its existence, yes. Like that is it should be a big thing that it's about. And in a salary cap league, if you get ahead of the curve on that, like the Sounders have, it gives you a massive advantage over these teams that don't prioritize it. So there's just a lot more strategy to it, and it allows for clubs that can't or don't want to spend as much as Atlanta United say. It gives them agency to be competitive that like teams in the Prem or the Bundesliga of recent years.
Let's talk about France. You want to talk about a shitty ass league with one team?
Oh, PSG won again? No way. That's crazy. I didn't see that coming. Yeah, exactly. What's the enjoyment out of that other than getting to watching Man City and PSG and those teams play is fun. They're really fun to watch because they have their starting 11s are all two of the top five.
Bundesliga has gotten really bad too. Yeah, a lot of people are saying Bundesliga's bad. I used to watch a lot of Bundesliga actually as a kid.
It's been one of the worst. It was Bayern for like 14 years straight.
Yeah, like there was some years like 2013, 14, 15, like 16-ish kind of era. Like yes, the same teams were winning, but like at least it was interesting footy and there was a lot of great players. And now it's still
just Bayern. Huber Hammer.
Yeah. And Jeremy brings up a good point. France is real burger league. It's literally Ligue 1 McDonald's. That's like literally the sponsor.
It's way worse than MLS.
Yeah.
PSG's the only squad there.
They just have they don't have they have financial fair play, which is a salary cap. It's just a fake one. Yeah, they're just able to like scam.
That's not.
They're real. Like Herbalife gave us $10 billion in sponsorship money over the next 1,800 years. So technically, we're allowed to spend as much as we want. And it's like, wow, thank you.
I feel like I've heard you'd maybe know better than me. I feel like I've heard more rumblings than you usually do about leagues in Europe. Maybe not instituting like a full-on salary cap, but doing something like that. That like they finally are.
Oh no! Oh no! Ari froze.
The same team win our league literally every.
You froze. Run that back one more time.
Am I back?
Yeah. Yeah, you're there. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I was saying like I feel like I've heard more rumblings in recent years than usual that leagues in Europe are at least considering moving towards a more like a salary cap system or some sort of financial regulations because they might have actually come to the realization that having the same club win their league every single year is actually not good.
It's not interesting, man. Like it's great for the individual brands that are big, like, but we can't really, Man City, Liverpool, Bayern, PSG, Ajax, whatever. Like that's great and all, but like, yeah, what's the point of being? It's not entertaining. It's not as entertaining to me as, again, Chicago Fire could win MLS Cup next year. Genuinely, like if they make a couple of signings, they could win MLS Cup next year. They were a joke. Like they've been a joke, and they're gonna go build a stadium. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm really, really, really. I'm not anti loosening the restrictions, but I want them to still be strong restrictions. I don't mind roster rules that are strong. I think they should keep up with the inflation of global football. But the problem is the inflation of global football is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It really is. And it continues to snowball and snowball. I think eventually there's going to be a crash. I think there's eventually going to be like a popping of a bubble because there is just so much like fraud investment that's happening, like genuinely. And I don't think MLS should get wrapped up into that. And someone asked, and I want to pose this question to kind of like maybe round out something about this. SSB asks, do you guys think Don Man is a good commissioner? Do you want to answer it first or do you want me to answer it?
I mean, what is a commissioner is basically the liaison for the oligarchs. So in that sense, like, yeah, he is good at that. And then I guess the other way I would judge him is, you know, what's the health of the league at any given time? Do I feel like the league is on a positive trajectory where, you know, the fan bases are expanding and the teams are getting bigger and better players are coming to the leagues? And when I look at that, if I'm trying to judge it fairly and objectively, I think the league is in a pretty good place, and you know, he's facilitated the oligarchs to getting to that point in about as well, I guess, as you could hope that a liaison would. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of critiques you could make of them. But if we're talking about just the general standing of the league and the trajectory it's on and its future, I feel like it's in a decent enough place. I don't know. Do you disagree?
No, I agree. I have said this many times. Obviously, it's fun to make fun of Don Garber, and he has objectively, quote unquote, made bad decisions. But like you're saying, he's essentially a figurehead for all of the owners.
He's a figurehead. That's the word
they decide what this league is, it isn't. They have more voting power than he does or anyone in the league. And the reality is he has been very good at pushing very stingy owners towards spending more and finding owners that want to align with his vision of the league and with the growth vision of the league. Because when it started out, it was the Robert Krafts. It was the people who were like, I'm going to give this team to my fail son to go run as a birthday present. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, okay, we have the Atlanta United owner who will literally put $10 bajillion into his team if he could. And I think that he as in the context of his job has done a very good job. I think this league has grown in really impressive ways in the last like 5 years. Not even discounting the last 10 years, the last 5 years. Like that's it continues to every year the competition gets better. There's more impressive players coming in. The players who are here are impressed by the level of competition. And all of that while, again, maintaining this parity. There's been bad deals along the way. Absolutely. But I think when you zoom out as a whole, I think that he's been pretty good.
Being the commish would be such a hard job. Like if you think about what you
he did, you know, I am pissed at him though, because there was one time I was editing photos in the Dallas press box and he decided to sit down pull a chair, flip it around right next to me. I was like facing a wall because there was like one plug, and have a fucking press conference. And so I'm just in the background of all of it, like hunched over, like with the worst posture, just editing my photos. And he's like, well, you know, statistically speaking, our viewership is up this year. Blah, 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 blah. So there's criticisms I have for him, and it includes doing that. Don, I'll never forget that.
I mean, just think about like the job description though. It's like, it's not just like one oligarch that you're beholden to. It's literally 30 plus oligarchs, and each oligarch has a different kind of agenda, right? Like the Colorado Rapids oligarchs, their whole thing is like, this is, you know, we own the Avalanche and Arsenal or whatever partially own Arsenal too. And this is like the son of the main oligarch. It's like his little pet project.
That's what I'm saying.
But then you have like Arthur Blank, who's like the type of oligarch that's like you were saying, like throws all that money like that he wants in a completely different way than a Stan Kroenke type oligarch. And then you got every other type of oligarch in between, and you have to kind of like mix and match, figure out how one oligarch's needs meet and clash with the other. That's not easy. It's not easy. Like
I think there's a lot of people who would do this job way worse. I don't think people understand 99% of CEOs or commissioners or whatever are just fucking stupid. They're just people who have like literally networked themselves into the right position or failed upwards or whatever.
Or
like,
they're the son of Stan Kroenke.
Or exactly. Like I don't think people quite understand how like, and this isn't to say that, again, I have my criticism. I have to couch this because people are going to be like, you're a shill. And you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I'm a shill. Like, he has done a good job. Like there are times moving the crew to Austin. Not a great look, Don. That was
those situations, and then he has to get out there and be like, Anthony Precourt is a great guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's awesome. Yeah, and everyone's like, Don.
But like, dude, I'm sorry. Okay, this is just gonna be. I'm just gonna put this out here. Like, my former CEO at my former company that I worked for, that famously owns The Athletic. You can fill in the gaps there. Probably one of the dumbest people I've ever met in my life. Just like potentially. Like and not in the way of like not an intelligent person, but just like has no clue about the thing that they're running. Like just no clue, and is just doing what looks good on paper and what pleases the people around them. And makes their job the easiest so they can collect their fat check and keep it pushing. Don Garber could be doing that very easily. He could be not trying to move the league forward in any kind of... It's very clear that he's invested in this. That's all I'm going to say. Well,
he wasn't a soccer guy at all when he took the job, and he took the job kind of because someone needed to do it, and he was like, all right, whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah, because
then I think
MLS was like going bankrupt.
Yeah, and then I think he discovered, he was like, oh, I kind of like this sport. Yeah. I'm going to actually devote my career to this. So, whatever. I think any commish, there's going to be, whenever you're dealing with that many oligarchs, there's
hashtag commish Glazer in the chat. Hashtag commish Glazer in the chat.
Try to be fair, man. I try to be fair. Like,
that doesn't mean I'm not going to talk shit on him at some other point in my life. It's just
we'll clown on him when it's merited.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where like if people are saying like that the calendar change is an indictment of his commissionership. I mean, you're entitled to think that. It's something that the calendar change is something that's been talked about for years and years and was probably always going to happen at some point, and that a lot of people pined for. That's what I still don't get. But
remember we crashed out about the suspension, the Suarez suspension from MLS, and
his statement. Okay, we can critique.
Yeah, we crashed out about that.
We crashed out about that. Let's critique him on that. His statement about the Inter Miami brawl, crash out, crybaby suspensions was not optimum.
Case in point for Don Garber not being competent. U.S. Soccer Federation. What are you talking about? Don Garber doesn't what? He doesn't run the U.S. Soccer Federation.
Yeah, USSF. That's a different org. Who's even running that these days?
You want to talk about incompetence? You want to talk about fucking incompetence, buddy? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this for a second. USSF, who famously hired a consulting firm for millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars just to tell them that they should rehire the same coach that they already had.
That was an all-time bit.
And then fired him.
And then had to fire him pretty much immediately. Good. It's a good Fed. It's good.
He's federation. On the board. Yeah, but like, again, how many people are on the board? Of course he's on the board. He's the fucking commissioner of the big, like, what you think he's actually like moving and shaking inside of USSF? Like, I don't know. I don't think he has as much pull as you guys think. But that is the QSMNT take, is that everyone's MLS pilled inside of US soccer, and like Don Garber's actually pulling the puppet strings, and he's the puppet master, and that's why US soccer is bad, is because MLS controls it. Which, you know what, man? That's a very I feel like that conspiracy gets a little bit too close to what they believe for their politics, and I don't think I need to go into more about that bit.
Did you give your take on the no paywall thing? I was talking about it a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't. But I had a thing saved here that I wanted to cook on with us.
And then maybe we'll get a Nico guest spot at the end of the show here. We'll see.
He's cowardly. He won't show up. He won't do it.
We'll see. He said 9.
Okay. Eric says, season pass ruined broadcast experience for Sounders fans. There used to be Seattle pregame shows, local talent commentary, sideline interviews, and an entire local ecosystem around the Sounders. What I will say is there's still an entire local ecosystem around the Sounders, and you can listen to KJR. KJR has really good pregame programming, halftime programming, post-game programming. And if you don't like the broadcasters, who, like you said, are no names, which I don't agree with. I'm a big Max Bretos fan, but that's just me.
They are calling games from a closet. That's accurate.
They do that, and I do agree that is frustrating. You can turn on the local radio broadcast. Maybe this was, for me, was more of a pitch to say, listen to KJR. But
just mute Apple TV and play KJR.
You can on the Apple TV app, you can switch your audio over from that to the local broadcast too. So
I know what they're saying though, like when you had the whole, that was the original RGTV era, with Jackie Montgomery and Marcus Hammond.
The actual Rave Green TV that they own the trademark for, by the way.
That was a real thing. That show was fire, and you don't really have, maybe one day when it gets big enough, they could expand it to have what if they had a MLS season pass type setup, or like the Apple TV setup? Listen, but they had individualized broadcast teams for the teams. Yeah,
we will be on air talent.
They would probably not want to devote the money to that, but that would make the product way better. The broadcasting from the closet thing, that's gotta change. That makes me feel like they're gonna try and do it with ChatGPT next. They're like, first,
like they're doing for your website.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna do it we're gonna make you do it from the closet first, and then the logical extension of that is we're gonna eventually broadcast the games with AI. But
don't they already do that? They do that for Next Pro.
They do it with the camera, not the commentators.
Okay.
But
who needs cameramen?
Oh my God! Have you watched
kind of fucking suck?
Did you watch any of the Next Pro games with the AI cameras? It was honestly like I was crying laughing at how bad it was on a couple of the games, because it would just kind of go rogue. Like you'd see where the action is, and the camera would just forget what it was doing, I guess, and be like, mwah, and then it's just like focused on the goalie who's on the other side of the field, and it's not pointed. You're like, you need someone in that booth, guys. You need someone in that booth. The bot camera is not. It's not doing it.
Maybe one day we'll get the broadcast rights for Sounders games. And we could stream them on Lobbing Scorchers YouTube channel.
That would be the dream, but it would be cool to have more like individualized team coverage on MLS Season Pass. But I'm also
I will say Sounders fans are very blessed though. Like we do have a lot of options for commentary before, after, during the games. We don't do a lot of watch-alongs because we're in the PB, but maybe we'll hire some people to do watch-alongs.
We did a couple of watch-alongs. We did a watch-along for the charity match, which was pretty fire, and then the decision day one I thought was pretty good. I was thinking about cooking one up for the Whitecaps LAFC game.
Oh, that could be fun. When's that? Is that this weekend?
Next weekend.
Yeah, I could get down on that potentially.
I was kicking around the idea, but yeah, it's not like we would never really do one for a Sounders game unless it was like the decision day type situation. But
yeah, or they're like playing in some big, like maybe we could try it out for like CCC or something, but like away games.
Apple getting rid of local coverage opened the door for Lobbing Scorchers to fill the void with content.
That's true.
In a way. Yeah.
Listen, Market opportunity, market economics, supply and demand. Me and Ari are famously capitalists on this show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Staunch.
Also, congratulations to Katie Wilson on becoming the mayor of Seattle. Bruce officially conceded today, and that means that the two Seattle soccer czars are in.
Yeah, it also the narrative that I'm perpetuating with that is that we accounted for the amount of votes that she needed to avoid
not have the recount.
We changed the course of the city forever,
and that's what Lobbing Scorchers is about, frankly.
Yeah. Not I didn't think that would be the way in which we changed the city forever, but
I thought it would be getting the Nico statue. But, this works too.
The Nico Moreno statue?
Yeah, Nico Moreno statue. Yeah, definitely. It was really funny. I was watching back the interview we did with her, and my bit about the soccer czar being like, if you need a soccer czar.
That bit kind of caught on. Yeah. People like saw the interview and were like texting me that. Like, yeah.
I did text her congratulations and was like, congrats on the win and whatever. And didn't get a reply yet, but I'm like, I don't.
She's nationally famous now. It's great. It's been crazy watching the national political pundits start to talk about Seattle because I think they thought she was going to lose when the first ballot drop came in and he was way ahead. So they started talking about everyone else, and then it's our elections, so it's like a week later.
Yeah.
Oh shit, she won, and now they're all talking about us.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I do need a sash. Someone says I need a sash.
New York Times attacked her this evening. Exactly. That's how you know. That's how you know it's real.
Dude, that piece was whack. As a former New York Times employee, I can openly say that
it's a badge of honor. That's a badge of honor to get attacked by them.
Yeah, dude. That's famously the coolest people get attacked by the New York Times.
Yeah.
You got some swag. I'm just saying. I mean, we always knew she had swag, but also dude, we're getting bike racks installed at Lumen Field. That's gonna happen because of us now. That's sick.
Because of us.
Because of us. You're welcome.
Joey says voted for after watching on LS. There was at least one other person who commented that too. So,
I know for a fact
who
that
who knows how many people have that story? Who knows?
People were passing around that interview. It's funny. I got texts from people who I hadn't talked to in years who sent me the link to our first interview and were like, "Oh, are you?" They were just like, "Oh, I didn't realize you did a podcast." And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "That's crazy." When I was doing research for who to vote for, your show with her came up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, she's great. You should make sure to vote for her and get your ballot in." So it was proliferating around the community. We were on NPR talking about it. I mean, the Herald campaign famously didn't want to be on it and then lost by a very slim margin. I'm just saying, I don't want to say it was all of our hard work, but
the Herald campaign headquarters after they lost, they're like, "Oh damn, guys, is there anything that we could have done differently to avoid this result? What if we had gone on the soccer show that she went on?"
I responded to the initial email that they sent because I had never responded after they replied. They were like, "We're not interested," and I was like, "Thanks for the response. Appreciate you reaching out." And then got an automated response that said, "This email is no longer."
Oh, that's fire!
They cut it off. They already knew they were cooked.
Day of.
Yeah.
Do we want the divisions? What do you think of divisions in MLS?
I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't really know how it's gonna work at all. So
am I missing something with they're doing a single table, but then also divisions?
Yeah, how is that supposed to work?
There's an explanation for it somewhere. I think The Athletic has it. Let me see if I can find that. While I'm looking for that, I did have a free agency question for you.
Yeah, let's cook on it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's two big ones. Christian Espinoza and Walker Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Should Seattle sign one of them, both, or neither?
I would love Espinoza on this team.
Wouldn't that be kind of gas?
Listen, I like Espinoza a lot. I think Walker Zimmerman could be cool too, but like
I'd take them both. I'd take them if you can fit them in
both. Absolutely, on the right number. I think Walker Zimmerman's going to be way too expensive. I don't think for
Espinoza, wouldn't Espinoza be pretty expensive too?
Yeah, but like I feel like he would command a little bit more of a fee. Like his value is there, I think, a little bit more than like Zimmerman, who is like a very lethal defensive player and also like
he's an awesome CB. Freaking 3 center back setup with Ymar, Reagan, and Walker Zimmerman.
It'd be pretty tight
with your wing backs.
Who do you get rid of? You got to get rid of Ariola, or you've got to like.
I mean, you worry about that. Worry about that at a
Ship Moose.
But no, I was thinking about this today too. Like Ariola stays. He comes back. He plays for the Seattle Sounders next year. I want to see that. It was unfortunate how early in the season he got hurt this year, but it was so long ago that I think we forget how good he looked. And
yeah, I agree.
He has a lot of utility as far as he can play as a wingback, or if you need him to.
No, I want to keep Ariola. I think, especially if
that is a
decision healthy,
that has to get made coming off the injury, and I want him on the team next year.
Me too. I think that's going to be a game changer, dude. Like genuinely, like that's going to be, especially if he can play kind of like a wingback. Maybe just get rid of Nuhu.
My answer, if I had to pick between the two of those, would be Espinoza. But the only thing I would have to look into a little more is, we were kind of talking about how guys like Joseph or Chicho wouldn't fit because to play Schmetzer ball, you have to have work rate. You have to be a pressing player. Joseph and Chicho don't really do that much. Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure that Espinoza has like the Schmetz skill set in that way.
Sure,
but God damn, is he talented?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's one of those where it's like you kind of
you just live with it.
You just live with it, because like Ryan Kent was not like that. I mean, he didn't play because of it, but like
it's true. Yeah,
like I don't know. Maybe that's a challenge with Spencer. Honestly, I'm seeing some comments in chat, and I'm kind of out on Zimmerman because frankly
he's pretty old.
He's old, and I would rather have like
I shouldn't say that. He's like my age, but yeah.
He's old for MLS, right? And he's had a lot of injuries and whatever. But I would rather see Stu Hawk step in there and get minutes, or like sign a young center back, develop another young center back. Like I think that's really where it is, because Yamar's old too. Like he's only got a few more seasons in him, I think. And he's like 33. Kind of a decline this season a little bit. Nico would be at my throat right now if I said that. But
he's supposed to tap in here any second. So.
He won't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree that if it's the choice between signing Walker Zimmerman in free agency or letting Stu Hawks cook on those minutes and develop Stu Hawks, like there's way more upside to be gained from that hitting than there is from bringing Walker Zimmerman in, even however good he might still be. Which I mean, the upshot of Walker Zimmerman is it's like, you literally know exactly
he's good for like 8 goals too.
He's good for a bunch of goals for as a CB, and you also like he defends at a very like a borderline defender of the year type level every year. Yeah, and you know that's what you're gonna get. Like there's literally no risk to signing Walker.
Yeah, there's not. And Timbo's saying there's way more upside to Stu Hawks. Yeah, like I agree. Like it's. Like you were saying too, like it's you have to think about the future. I think this roster is at a place where it's very content. Like I'm very content with this roster. I feel I'm happy with this roster. Like
I feel like that too. Because usually you get to the end of the season and it's like anxiety. Usually you get to the end of the season and it's like anxiety inducing. You're like, oh man, like this guy's probably not going to be back. Oh, this guy is probably not going to be back. How are you going to replace this guy? There is a little bit of that with this roster. We're going to talk a lot this offseason about Moose, Paul Rothrock, Ryan Kent. All those decisions have to be made. But when I look at the roster on the whole, and we'll have to see what happens to Obed too. I think that's a big thing. Like if there's no Obed on this team next year, even if they get a huge bag for him, it's hard to see how that doesn't make you a little bit worse. But then, like, if that happens, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm excited to see what Snyder B can do. Like, everything I saw from him last year made me excited to watch him play more. And I have, like, I don't know, I'm more
Everyone
of a
was cooking your ass on KJR.
yeah,
and
I guess
saying it was,
I'm more of a Snyder B head than most. I think a lot of people are still wary of the sample size, which I get. Like, he barely played at all, but I watched him very closely during all his MLS minutes because, I was very interested, like, what level does he really look at, like, compared to Obed, but also just for any homegrown midfielder getting thrown into that spot. Like, what I always look for, like, do you blend in versus do you stand out? I would say as much, if not more, than any homegrown I've seen play for the first team, he was standing out more than blending in. He scored
yeah.
2 MLS goals, which that's not even like a really important part of his game and his position. But the fact that he scored 2 goals in his first 2 MLS
They were
games,
good goals.
and they were good. Yeah, they were like they were movement goals.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like random low percentage shots that he took out of nowhere. It was like intelligent movement. You could tell, like, the fact that he's trained so much with the first team really paid off in those situations. He already knew how to play with everybody, and he also just, like, looked fearless. Like,
Yeah, he didn't look unconfident. He looked very confident.
Yeah, he looked like
in.
he should be out there, and that's sort of those are where I want my starting players to be. Like not someone that I'm like, okay, he's gonna not screw it up. Someone that's gonna, like, go do stuff that wins the game. I see that with Snyder. Like, he still has to make good on that. It's all still, like, projection and potential, but I think he really does have that potential. And if there was a bigger role that got carved out for him through Obed getting transferred for a massive bag, I would be excited about that. And then, kind of just back to what you were saying, like, I think the roster in general, I was thinking about how confident am I going to feel that the level going into next year can stay relatively at what it was this year. I feel pretty confident in that with the guys that they have locked down and coming back, combined with a couple of the young guys coming up. So yeah, no, I'm like kind of excited for next season already. I feel like the team's set up pretty well.
No, I completely agree. And back to your point of Snyder quickly, I see the same things in him that I think we both saw in Paul Rothrock when we were advocating so heavily for him, where people were like, why are you guys fucking talking about this guy? Like it started as a bit, it started being like, because Snyder B is just such a fire Snide B, it just, like, it rolls off the tongue so well. But then we were like, okay, let's actually watch the tape. We saw him at the Defiance, we saw him play, and we were like, this kid is good, man. Then we saw him slot in with the first team, and what we took from it both was just like, man, this kid is ready to step into this role. That's crazy. Like, get him minutes. Like, I am a Snyder B head on the same level as you.
He needs to get, even if Obed is back, he needs to get a lot of minutes next year. Yeah. And Stu Hawks needs to get a lot of minutes next year. I don't want to hear the excuses from the coaches next year. All right, like, he actually
him out.
Or loan him out. But they actually finally gave him a chance this year, and he looked really good, I thought. He got scored on the one time in the LAFC game, but I would really argue that actually was not his fault. I think he got put in a bad situation, and it turned out to be an isolated incident compared to the rest of the minutes he got. And again, like, I don't understand why they're so
back. If you don't have minutes in MLS as a center back, which famously is attack heavy because people spend all of their money on their attack and no money on their defense, you might get scored on a few times. You might make a few silly mistakes. You have to.
And there's so much to be gained if you can bring a homegrown center back up and he's actually good.
Yes, we've been on this. Yeah.
And you can actually rely on that week in, week out, or to start games in tournaments or whatever. There's such big upside to bringing like someone up at a premium position like that. So they felt they're so covered at the position that, like, they don't need to rush it or something. But I think next year is the year for that. He showed enough this year on the field, I think. And he also, their whole thing is like how skinny he is. That's why they never played him. The dude is, like, jacked now. So get him out there. Get Snyder B out there.
I think Snyder B is my new Rothrock pick. Like honorary Paul Rothrock, Lobbing Scorchers heat check. I'm going with it.
I love that pick.
And I was trying to defend you on because like I like Danny Leyva. I think he's a great player. I think he did take a step forward this season. But like, I'm sorry, I want Snyder Brunel.
I think Snyder's quite a bit more dynamic. I do think that Danny showed like very notable improvement this year. We didn't even talk about it at the time, but I think it was one of the goals, and it was the second Obed goal in the Minnesota playoff game.
Pass that he plays to Rothrock.
Yeah, I didn't catch that when I first watched the highlight, but that's the kind of stuff that Danny Leyva has in his bag now, that he's always had in his bag to an extent, but I feel like it didn't always translate to the games consistently. And this year it finally was. But yeah, Nico seemed to think that if they do move off Obed, Danny Leyva is the one who's going to soak up the majority of those minutes. But I don't think he's as good defensively. Like I don't really see the same vision. I don't see Obed in Danny at all. I don't see the compliments of what Obed compliments Christian as, which I'm sorry. The truth of it is you should be finding the player that complements Christian the best, because Christian Roldan is the engine of this club at this point, and he's going to be there. Obed might not be. You should be finding that complementary player. And like, do I think it's Danny Leyva? I don't know. I don't know. But if I'm going to pick between the two, I'm betting on Snyder. That's what I see, at least. How did Cody Baker do with Sacramento? I didn't follow that much. Were you keeping tabs on that?
They got bammed out of the playoffs, but I think he did well. They have these sick retro jerseys though that were like the coolest fucking thing ever, and he posted a photo of him in it on his IG, and he looked so sick. This is a Cody Baker podcast. We're pro Cody Baker on here.
All right, we got a bunch of questions in chat. Let's just work through these.
Let's get through them. Yeah.
Will Pedro be healthy, play 1,900 minutes in a year by the end of his contract?
No.
Why do you just think that he's prone?
I listen. At this point, I don't doubt his talent. I definitely was on the fence before, but like I don't anymore. I know that he's a talented player, and I hate to keep doubting the kid because it's like super unfair, like. Especially this last injury. This last injury wasn't his fault at all. None of the injuries truly are his fault. You can't fault your body for getting injured.
There's a difference between someone who gets a lot of soft tissue injuries, pulled hamstring, pulled groins, and that like stuff like that. That is stuff that he had to deal with, and
he was dealing with it the whole season.
The knee tendonitis, there's that too.
Dude,
but to me,
no way he hasn't played a single minute with the Sounders where he wasn't carrying some sort of injury.
But like a dislocated kneecap, like that is just a freak. That could literally happen to anyone. There's no
his knee
there's no propensity,
bro. Like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, like there's no
the Jordan arm thing all over again.
So I'm not gonna especially this last injury, I'm not gonna hold over him as like, oh, he's for sure going to be injury prone for the rest of his career. My hope for that situation is that he takes as much time as he needs this offseason and at the beginning of next season to get healthy. The roster's loaded. They don't need to rush him. They have enough cover there to get by.
He's a DP though.
Until he's fully healthy and ready to go. He's DP, so that's even more reason not to rush him. Like
listen. I don't know. I have feelings.
I understand the skepticism, but I'm not ready
it's not even like his fault. Like and that's what I think it's so hard to talk about on my end is like he is so good and so talented, and also he's occupying a roster spot that he has not played enough fucking minutes to occupy. Like you need your DPs to play. You need your DPs to be healthy. And we are very, very lucky that we basically have 5 DPs on this team.
Exactly. That's why it applies to this team less than other teams.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean it's always going to be like that. And Pedro's a future, like he was always going to be like a franchise player. That was always the vision for him. And so I think that the problem is like, long term, it's a very hard decision, and I feel like it's a very emotional decision because again, you see what he is. He is a star. He is a stud. He is so good at that. But also, it's one of those things where it's like the bruised banana still tastes good, but like that shit low-key got run over by a car, bro. Like, are you gonna still keep eating it? I don't know. If you're really hungry, I don't know if that analogy didn't make any sense. But like, I was trying to cook something. Man,
No, I see where you were going with it. I was thinking about like
sometimes you need to leave the banana on the ground. Okay, like, did you see the Bushwick pickle dumpster?
No.
There's this like dumpster filled with pickles in New York City, and there's like people crawling in it and eating dumpster pickles. Why are we eating the dumpster pickles, brother? Like, go to the store and buy a jar. Like, we
okay, yeah,
you know what I mean? I don't know.
I was thinking about like, would they have won the series against Minnesota if De La Vega was healthy? And my first thought was like, hell yeah, they would have. And then I was like, well, I mean, they what he would have helped with is scoring goals, and that wasn't the problem in the Minnesota series. They scored 7 goals in that series, so maybe it wouldn't have been any different. But then I was like, well, the first match was a 0-0 where you had some good chances and lost in PKs because you couldn't score a goal. So maybe if he's healthy, then they just win that game.
I mean, it's definitely a factor. 100%.
You got lucky, Minnesota United. You got lucky that you didn't have to deal with the Puskas
Andrew Thomas
nominee.
twice and no Pedro de la Vega.
Got lucky you didn't have to deal with that Puskas nominee. You wish any of your guys could score a goal like that.
Let him win the Puska
in your dreams. In your dreams. All right, let's bring him to the stage right now. It's Nico Moreno, my co-host of Lobbing Scorchers Kickoff. And,
also my co-host, because there was one time when you didn't show up, and so I co-hosted.
I don't remember that. I don't think that.
We need to do more of those. Noah, what's going on, boss?
I know, our show is electric.
Yeah, you guys. It sounds like you guys need a show. Nico, thanks for tapping in. We've been discoursing here for the last couple hours on this calendar.
Yeah,
some, Seattle Sounders stuff. Let's get your takes on the calendar change. We gave our takes, but what was your reaction to that seismic shift in the history of Major League Soccer?
Yeah, hour 51. I'm glad because I don't got a lot of time, but I did want to do a quick hit with you guys. Look, I think it was necessary. I believe that it is the step necessary to put MLS in a different level. I've been saying that I do believe what the Opta rankings showed, and that MLS is a top 10 league in the world. And this puts you on track to be better than that. It's not just about being aligned with the best leagues in the world and the majority of the international transfer window in order to, one, sell more players and more of that domestic talent that you have been so effectively getting out abroad, but also giving teams a better opportunity to cash in on the players that you can afford. There's no longer going to be the excuse of, it's difficult because the summer window falls in a time where it's hard to get players. That's out the door. That's out. There's no getting away from that. I've spoken to several sporting directors, GMs, and coaches today, and they have all been just excited about this change and happy about it, and they kind of felt like it took too long to get here, but it's finally here. And it's not just about buying and selling players. It also minimizes the amount of times that teams have to play without those players that go play internationally with their national teams. How many times do we see the Sounders have to go without Christian Roldan, Obed, at one point, Nico, Georgie, Raul,
Remember we had to call up a bunch of fucking random Defiance players?
There was one time where they were missing, it was like 9 or 10 guys.
Yeah.
That's a thing of the past now, right? Because there might be some times where maybe because I've seen it happen in other leagues where there are times where you do get some slight overlap, but you're going to diminish it so much more. I also think that playing the vast majority of your early games in the winter, where climate tends to be more difficult to move along because of rain or storm or of lightning, stuff like that. It'd be easier to move than playoff games. Playoff games you can't move around, right? There's no postponing. It's just more difficult. I think that even with the NFL schedule, that was my biggest concern. Having it early on might give the Sounders, or will give the Sounders, and will give the Sounders, Charlotte, Atlanta, a better way to move around it, right? They'd be able to really try to figure out how to get it moved, because you do have that ability to postpone or move early games rather than playoff games. And that's a big deal. And finally, I even think that the playoff format is going to be better. Right now, if I'm New York City FC, I'm pissed. I mean, rhythm. I just beat Charlotte. I want the game to come now. Yeah. Martinez is flying. Nico Fernandez is killing it. I don't want it to go away. I don't want him to cool down. Now I got to wait a week and a half for them to get back out there. So all of those things will be a thing of the past, man. And I'm just excited for it.
What do you think about the added bonus of no longer having your first games of the season be CONCACAF Champions Cup? Like, you actually get to be more competitive, more fluid in all of that. Obviously, the Sounders, they didn't need to worry about that. They won that shit. No big deal. But that's always been a big thing, is like Major League Soccer is not competitive in the early stages of the tournament because, frankly, these are their first games.
The deck is stacked against them. Like,
yeah, I mean, Ari and I talked about the Sounders being bounced off by Olympia in CONCACAF Champions League. I don't think that happens if the team is in rhythm and they're, farther into the season. And so, yeah, I think that's huge. We're always going to be compared and competing with Liga MX. This allows you to be at an even ground. That's another conversation of the past, is the narrative that, certain tournaments really depend, if MLS is winning is because MX teams are not in rhythm, and if Liga MX teams are winning the tournaments, then it's because vice versa, right? So all of those things are now going to be not a real narrative, and it will allow the product to speak for itself. I'm also excited about the Apple wall for MLS Season Pass coming down. I think that's going to be a huge deal for MLS right before the World Cup, right? Look, my dad is not the best guy when it comes to apps, even on a smartphone. And the fact that he had to pay twice, right, he really hated it, right? Okay, so I don't get it. So I got to pay for Apple TV and I got to pay for the MLS Season Pass. Like, I don't get it. Dad, you know what? I got you. It's fine. I'll get it for you. But now, you don't have that. So I think that you will get a different spectrum of viewers. It'd be easier to do it. So I like that. The fact that the Canadian teams are going to be able to be treated per FIFA as domestic teams, and they're going to be able to enjoy the same lucrative benefits of just having the aligned calendar is great. So overall, I just think these are all the changes that we've been waiting for. I don't love the division thing. 6 teams, 5 divisions. I don't know how that's going to work out. I like the
single table and divisions.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I really don't. I like the single table, and it makes sense. But then you bring up the divisions. I don't get it.
Someone said in chat that that you would essentially play every team on the table once, and then people in your division twice.
But do the standings of the division actually affect anything other than if you finish first?
I think it's literally just like a regionalization of your stuff.
Oh,
so
I like that.
You're getting 2 Vancouver Portland games. You're getting 2 Sounders Vancouver games. You're getting 2 Portland. Like, I think it's trying to keep the regional rivalry where you get a home and away series for it. While
that actually sounds like it could be kind of fun. Like
that works.
The divisional games effectively become like other derbies, even if it's not like your typical rival, like a divisional rivalry can kind of take on its own thing. I think that could be kind of sick.
Yeah, and I think the biggest point of emphasis of what you just said is teams playing every team. You know, there's so many teams that don't play each other that it just seems odd that it doesn't happen. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the world or the top leagues. Everybody plays everybody at least once, and it's odd. You know, the fact that Miami's never traveled to Seattle. Oh well, they did once. I think in MLS play.
They did
once.
Famously.
Oh yeah, they did.
Leagues Cup, yeah.
No,
yeah,
they did it. They didn't they play their inaugural game here.
I don't know if inaugural, but one game I remember because
their first ever game was played against us. I'm pretty sure
it could be.
That was LAFC.
But no, there was a year where it was like FC Cincinnati's first match was against us. Yeah. LAFC's first match was against us, and I'm pretty sure that we also played against Miami. Yeah, Yedlin scored against us here. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Kurt Smith was still part of the
we can figure this out.
The front office of Inter Miami, and so yeah, they were here for sure. But yeah, so there's just a lot of teams that just don't play each other all the time, and I think that's going to be beneficial to really feel like your team is going against everyone, and the parity, is it gonna continue? Is it not? You know, all of it is going to be part of this change of calendars, and I just think that
is not against us.
Yeah, the product is going to be so much better with the change of calendars. And I've yet to hear negatives about it, except for season ticket holders. I've had a couple of people message me directly about how they don't feel like they're going to renew their season tickets because it feels. And what I would tell anyone who feels that way is just give it time. Change is difficult. But I promise you that when it's all said and done, the changes will not feel as severe as they might right now, because you're clearly playing in the exact same times of the year, right? You're gonna have a winter break. You're not gonna play mid-December, all of January, where is the heaviest. Same thing you used to before. You're starting mid-February, where at certain times you were playing CONCACAF Champions League. I mean, you know, the timelines are almost the same. All you're doing is flipping where it starts and where it ends. And I would love a May MLS Cup. I mean, that just sounds great.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You have to tell me if it was Will Kuntz you talked to, because I have a message for him and what he did to my beautiful LA Galaxy.
No. Kuntz is not one of the guys that I've talked to.
We don't leak sources here.
Have you seen a lot? There has been a lot of blowback on just the I think the weather thing is what most people are hung up on. There seems to be a perception that there's gonna be a lot more games in the colder markets in like the dead of winter, which you were at those Toronto MLS Cups, weren't you? Like
no, I did not get to go, but I did hear the horror stories.
Okay, well, yeah. I was not good.
And that makes sense. And I can see where their individual teams are going to be concerned about attendance for certain games, right? That Toronto game was sold out because it was a final. If that game is week 4 of MLS play, I don't know how many people show up. But I do feel like there is enough infrastructure within MLS to understand that those colder regions are going to be playing away a lot at certain parts of the year, right? Minnesota and Chicago and Toronto, those teams are going to play away, and that's the way you handle it. That's the way you move it. You modify it. There are enough stadiums, and there's enough that goes into setting up the calendar that I don't think it's going to be as big as you may think. And I think that the amount of games that you might miss out on are the same that you would have to essentially miss out for thunderstorms or hurricanes or whatever it is that we have around weather these days. So, you know, it really doesn't change as much. It's just, again, people hate change. And look, believe me, I have a hard time even posting stuff on Blue Sky sometimes because I go directly to the same one that I've been using this whole time, right? So it's just going to be a learning curve. But I promise you that 5, 8, 10 years from now, people are going to be like, wow, I'm glad that we made the change. Some might not even know how important it was to make that change.
Did it surprise you how fast they did it? I was kind of
No, me and Jeremiah had been talking about it. It was kind of funny because when Paul Tenorio, obviously they had a lot more information, but Jeremiah and I had been mentioning that the change was coming in 2027. I had been talking to players.
See, I missed the
about
2027 aspect of it. I remember we were talking about it on KJR and stuff, but for some reason in my head I was like, I thought you were talking about like 2037.
Oh, no. Yeah, 2027. The transitional mini tournament or condensed tournament, from
MLS
February to May.
MLS is back.
MLS is back. 2.0. Yeah, maybe that's what we should call it. I don't
Raise
know.
the banner.
That's good. I like that. So that's gonna that we all knew it was coming. Obviously, the whole divisions and a lot of the other things. There was a point where Jeremiah and I thought that there was going to be a apertura clausura type of situation. Obviously, that's not part of it. I like the single table better. 1 year. I'm with you. I don't love it, although it's a very Latin American thing, but I just don't like it. So yeah, no, I really do believe that every single decision that has been made, to me, not just makes sense, but it's very cohesive for what we've seen out of MLS, for what the teams are hoping to do, for the academy product that's coming out from the U.S. Soccer Federation. I'm stoked. I could not be any happier about it. I had one coach tell me that, no, you know what? No, but he was going to bring somebody big. He was going to bring someone big, and he was unable to do it, specifically, one, because of the summer window, and two, because of the possibility of not making the playoffs and being essentially put in the freezer for 3 or 4 months. Because if you don't make the playoffs in MLS, the offseason's pretty hard.
Listen, if chat gives a super chat, maybe Nico will leak some more information on what this is.
No, I will give you some things on the Sounders before I go. I've been following closely the Obed Vargas situation, and unfortunately, there's nothing new, and that concerns me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're ongoing, that's the positive. Negotiations are ongoing. They have not stopped, but they are convoluted. And between compensation and the terms, when certain things hit, it's a difficult situation. So
negotiating on a U22 or on
a U22. That's right. On a U22 contract and beyond.
What is complicated
right?
about that? You have to give them the max. What's like?
Well, that's the complicated part. That sometimes the max might not be enough, and the Sounders,
but yeah,
and the Sounders might not be able to do beyond that, or there's a lot of things. I'm not saying that's the problem. I'm saying that there is a lot of situations that have emerged, but the Sounders continue to feel confident that something will get done, but it is getting convoluted. And I told you guys that there's a time clock on it. If the Sounders want to do themselves a favor and make sure that they get something of this, product of the academy, it might have to be done in January.
He's going to walk away on a free. It's going to happen.
That's what this
that's the one thing that can't happen.
It's going to happen.
That can't happen.
It's going to happen.
They've taken a lot of criticism for not just getting the U22 thing done with him like during the season or earlier this season, but like is there a reason why him and his camp would have been resistant?
Well, didn't
to that?
he changed representation, right?
He did change representation.
They're cooking.
They're
cooking.
Exactly. You know exactly. That's part of it, right? You change representation. This obviously he's a guy that understands the market a lot differently, so that complicates things. And so it's all part of the difficult components of negotiations. But before I go, obviously the one that I think is, in my opinion, done and over with might be Paul Rothrock's.
Ooh,
I just don't see a.
Oh, like done, like they're not going to agree on anything.
Like you might not agree. They might. If I had to bet on it,
I thought you meant done like they were done.
No, I really don't see it. Again, negotiations are still ongoing, but I feel like Paul might get to test the free agent market before anything happens. So that's the one I wanted to leave you guys with before I went out. I'm sorry for the bad news. Things can still get done.
Honestly,
but
it's
but the probability level is pretty high that Paul Rothrock it might be a situation where it's like, all right, Paul, right, this is what you believe you're worth. Go see if you can get it out there. And if you can, then, more power to you. If you can't, this is what we have here for you. Oh no, I feel bad for Noah, because I know, and look, I love Paul Rothrock, and I don't know.
The writing's kind of been on the wall with this. I've heard nothing to the effect that they've ever been close on anything. Everything I've heard is like there's never been a point where they've been aligned.
No, I got the right idea. Yep. So it is really something that would be unfortunate, because it's been such a great story. Paul Rothrock is a guy that I think all three of us love to see on the field. He has empowered this team. He's been such a key piece, right, of this fluid attack and a guy coming off the bench, and the attitude and everything that comes with Paul Rothrock. But at the end of the but at the end of the day, there's always a number, and that number is not going to move. And if Paul feels like he can get, I don't know, 830,000, I believe is the max he could get, he feels like he could get that out there.
Is someone really going to give him that? That's my only question. Is his value?
They should.
His value.
Get that, I feel like.
But like, if you're DC United or something, does 830K for Paul Rothrock? Like, I think in my biased opinion, that's a good investment. But like,
if I'm a team in the championship, oh brother, I'm putting a bid on that.
That I was thinking like, I was thinking MLS free agency, but yeah.
You know what? I don't want it to happen though. I don't want him to be a guy that goes out there, gets paid, and then his career just has this huge decline, and he doesn't get on the field, and he becomes a bench player, and then
that could happen if you would think there's a lot of mutual benefit to be had from finding a middle ground where it is like, we're all Paul Rothrock fans. We want him to stay here, but I understand from the club's perspective when you have a situation where he's making 100K and the leap that is being asked for is to 830. I don't even know if that's
I got the number from Jeremiah, who obviously he's a monster when it comes to this sort of situation, and apparently that's the max he can get. So if he's hoping to get that elsewhere and somebody pays it, then I guess it's his prerogative as well. But again, nothing can guarantee you playtime. Same thing goes for Obed. I wish the best for Obed. But to me, the best possible scenario is that you take the $1 million, that's the max amount for a U22. You guarantee yourself a year, because his main objective this season has been getting on Mexico's national team. He's getting called up right now. He's going to perform. But if he wants to stay on that plane ride, well, I guess not, because he's in the USA, but if he wants to stay part of Javier Aguirre's team, you got to be playing. And if all of a sudden you move to, I don't know, PSV, and there's a learning curve and you're not getting minutes, you're not getting called up. Plain and simple. So for me, it felt like a better idea to just take that max money, continue to play, guarantee yourself that if there's an injury, if there's I don't know, anything that happens in the world these days, and you're insured. You have a contract that you can kind of back up on, and then your talent will speak for itself, and eventually you're going to end up in Europe. But this way, man, it's just very complicated. You're forcing it already. It might just be difficult. And again, Obit's such a great kid, such a talent, that I just want to see him make all the right choices.
Wow. All right. Yeah, definitely a couple of very interesting off-season storylines that we'll be keeping tabs on. We know you'll be on those beats. So yeah, appreciate that intel.
Yes, sir. No problem. I appreciate you guys as always. I'm going to be on the move. I'm going to have my crab pots out there trying to catch as much as I can, as long as Boger doesn't beat me to half, if not all of them. I'll be making sure.
Athletic. You beat the Athletic. We just didn't make an infographic about it, so it didn't pop off. That's on me. I failed at my job in promoting your scoops.
No, man, it's gonna be good. I'm excited for the off season. I don't think that there's gonna be enormous changes. The DP spots are taken. There's a core group, and I've said it before. I think that that's a positive, that that you have this core group that's going to go into 2026, and you're going to be able to perform, and you're going to have a good team, and who your goalkeeper is, your center back, your midfield for the most part. So yeah, it's a good thing, and you're going to add talent, and I feel like it's going to be another good 2026 season for the Sounders.
Nico,
but I appreciate you guys.
One more for you real quick before you head out. MLS free agency, Christian Espinoza, Walker Zimmerman. Should the Seattle Sounders sign one, both, or neither?
Oh, I don't want Zimmerman at all. He's too pricey. He's lost a step or two. I know Yamar hasn't had his best season. He would tell you that himself, right? Usually he is like, man, I should have been a finalist for MLS Defender of the Year. He didn't say anything. Now, he's not going to throw himself under the bus because he's a guy that works hard all the time. But I think that, there is a collaborative unit thing where I feel like defensively the team has schematically had some issues, but there's just individual moments where I can absolutely be honest about it and say, yeah, Yamar should not be in there. Even in the last game, I'm not gonna crucify him for it, but it's a clumsy foul that he gives up for the Pereira thing, right? I don't think he meant to do it. I don't think that it was necessary. It was just clumsy on that side. But when he has this sort of things, nobody takes it as hard as he does. I can absolutely see him just having a crazy off season and coming back just as a lean, mean defending machine. So for me, he's going to have a big 2026 for sure. He's on a contract here. He's got a club option that's been picked up, as I reported. He wants to remain in Seattle. He wants to get another 3 years here. And he needs to get out there and prove it. And I think he will, because he is a guy like that. He's not going to be a guy that's going to be, grumpy and just, no, he got a whole bunch of dog in him. I mean, he's got dog in him. And I think he's going to have a great season to make sure that he has a good guarantee contract.
What about Espinoza?
I'm taking Espinoza. I love Espinoza. I think Espinoza's a baller. Yeah. Obviously, with Pedro's injury, he just fits right in. He still gives Georgie and all these guys time. Paul Arriola, I could see him being a great left back. And look, Espinoza played wing back 3 or 4 times. Nuhu's a guy who I believe might be gone. I think there might be a market for him. Obviously, they're going to pick up his option, but I think that he's a guy that might be in the market, and you might be looking for a transitional moment there. He could probably benefit too out of a new horizon. So yeah, I think he's a player that might be on the trade block at some point.
I would be so lit if they got Christian Espinoza.
I love Christian, man.
Huracan, man. That guy.
He's great.
Do you think he presses enough for Schmetz?
I mean, he did play wing back for a little bit, so I think his defensive
I'm not really sure if he's like a work rate player.
Pressing. I don't know about that, but his services, his
wide
creativity,
service, through balls.
Yeah, no, I love
And
Cristiano
he's
Espinosa.
like offensively, he's like a perfect fit for the system.
And he's a good locker room guy. Oh, and him go back. So yeah, it's
they gotta make this happen. They gotta go get that guy.
I'm just saying.
Come on now, Craig. Let's go.
Craig,
I dig it.
We know you watch the pod. Get on that phone.
All right, Nico. We'll let you go on that.
Appreciate you, fellas. Have a good one.
Appreciate you,
Nico. Thank you.
Catch you next time. That was Nico Moreno from
Bro, he's just coming in here dropping fucking crazy news.
Yeah, we got the Rothrock update. We got the Obed update.
That's like 6 infographics I'm gonna have to make, bro.
Yeah, get cooking. Let's I'm down to call it there as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
We've been ripping for 220, so I think that's a pretty good shift. Great show, banger show, good discourse on the calendar change. We had to get that in there. Regular season structure change, a historic day for Major League Soccer. So you already know we had to lay down some heartily in-depth coverage. Appreciate you all tuning in.
We didn't even talk about Phil Neville continuing as Timbers coach, but that's.
Did they announce that he's coming back?
That's what Pat said.
Oh, Pat, member for 6 months. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Keeping Phil.
We're missing the big. Wait, put it back up. Missing the biggest news. Timbers are apparently keeping Phil unless we sign Holland. I'm already my favorite offseason move, dude. If they brought him back, let's go. Hell
We're
yeah.
so back.
Give him a 10-year contract, lifetime appointment.
Yep.
Great coach, brilliant. I think with when I think of Phil Neville, what stands out is the tactical acumen and the big game chops to get it done when it counts. So really, it's a coup for the Portland Timbies to have him locked down for at least another season, if that is in fact the case. Vote for Pedro. Start the campaign. Let's get him a Puskas. I'll have to look at the other nominees, but there's no way any goal that's on there is as good as his goal against Cruz Azul. So get him a Puskas. The off-season coverage rolls on. We'll be covering the rest of the MLS playoffs as much as we feel like it. I don't think I'm going to be going super in depth on those, but we'll be covering the playoffs, and then
we'll have a wrap-up show too, like a in-person pod coming soon.
We'll lay that down as well. So keep an eye out for all that. I'll also be back at it on Monday with Nico for kickoff. So stay tuned. Appreciate you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you later. Love y'all. Peace.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere, and some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.